All right, good evening, and personal property is the video we're doing now. And here is the definition of personal property. It's a very concise and easy to remember. If it's not real, it's personal. Absent property, there are three kinds of absent property. And the definitions of each are in each of these slides. The first one is abandoned. So an example of abandoning property is if I have, let's say I have a book and I'm done reading it and I stick it in a cubby hole that I pass by. It is abandoned. I have purposely discarded it somewhere with no intention of reclaiming it. If Muhammad walks by, he sees the book and he wants it and he takes it home, it's his. He has full ownership rights, even if later I decide I want to keep that book forever. Lost property, there's the definition. So an example of lost property is if I bring my umbrella to work and I hang it up where I always hang it up in the hook in my office, and one of my office mates, Jen, decides she needs to use the umbrella to go across the campus. She goes across the campus with it, and then the sun comes out, it becomes a nice day, she forgets that she had borrowed my umbrella, and she leaves it across the campus in the admin building. And then it's picked up by Muhammad. I continue to have the full title of it. I clearly don't have possession, right? Muhammad has title inferior only to mine, and he does have possession, right? But if I see it, if I find it again, if I go, Muhammad, yo, I think that's my umbrella, then it revolves back to me. And the last absent personal property type is misplaced, and there's your test. And in this case, let's say that I have my umbrella again, and I take it over to admin, and I leave it in Dwayne's office because I'm attending a meeting, and then I go back because it's a bright sunny day, and I forget about it. In that case, if Muhammad sees it in Dwayne's office, he can't take it because I retain all ownership, both title, I don't have possession, but Muhammad, if he finds it in Dwayne's office, he has no title at all. And that's all there is to absent property. Bailment is a kind of a fancy term for something you know, right? And I have this example. I lend you my textbook for the semester. If I do that, I am the bailer and you are the bailee. You have access to the textbook and possession and use and wear and tear, but I retain title. There's three kinds of bailment. The first one is bailment for mutual benefit, and that's when we both get a benefit. So I have the example here of giving the car to a shop. So I take my car in to the shop, to the mechanic, and he changes the oil, changes the air filter, fixes the coolant, whatever, and I pay him money. So we both have a benefit. I have a repaired car, he has money. And here's the test. The test is ordinary care. So in all bailment cases, the test is negligence, but you have to add this prefix, right? So in this case, the bailee, that is the mechanic, owes ordinary care, reasonable care. And so you would perform the negligence test, and the duty of care would be ordinary care. Does that make sense? So just a regular negligence test. The exception is if there is a common carrier. So we can think about FedEx in this example, right? FedEx is a common carrier. There's someone who is engaged in the business of moving stuff back and forth. They have extraordinary care. And here are the exceptions. And so if FedEx is charged with the bailment of your stuff and they ruin it, it falls off the truck and it crumbles into a million pieces, then they have extraordinary care unless, and here is the information there. This becomes a lot trickier, and we'll see that in contract law, because what common carriers do is they try to pass on that responsibility to the seller or to the purchaser. And in the case of FedEx, they've done that pretty successfully. A bailment for the benefit of the bailee, there's the definition. The bailee gets the sole benefit. And I've given you an example. I lend my car to my daughter for the week, and she takes a road trip. So she has 100% of the benefit of the car, and I'm out of car for a week. Again, the test for a bailment is always negligence, but here the bailee must perform extraordinary care. So in my example, my daughter, Tisri, has to take extraordinary care of my car, which I'm happy to say, and even if she has breached her duty of care in the slightest way, it's still negligence. And finally is bailment for the benefit of the bailor. And I give the example of if I park my car in a free public garage, I'm getting a benefit and the public garage is getting nothing. And here the bailee owes only a slight duty of care, and that would be, of course, the public parking garage. So again, it's the test of negligence, but their duty of care is only slight, teeny tiny duty of care. Right. So they have to do something intentional, like purposely allow crooks in for the purposes of stealing out of cars.